Mayim Vega is a naturopathic herbalist and holistic life coach who's with us here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
Great. Now, first of all, I've got to read this testimonial of you, which says, I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with Mayim Vega over the past 5 years. In that time, it's been an honour to know a person of such high integrity, self-sacrifice and genuine interest in helping her fellow man. Whether it's through her counsel, teaching or friendship, she seeks to make the world a better place for all of us and is always offering her generosity and care to everyone. She has helped us on multiple occasions with life lessons, health counselling and business insights that you know are coming from a person of great knowledge and wisdom. If you have the pleasure of getting to know her, I'm sure you will agree. Well, luckily, we've got about half an hour to get to know you, so hopefully this will turn out to be exactly right, which I'm sure it will. So first of all, what does your school actually teach?
Okay, yeah, great question. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here with you today as well. So our school, it's aruka.com. That's ARUKAH.com.
Yeah.
And it's the Holistic Life Academy. And we have our main field of study is actually naturopathic herbalism, because that's basically my specialty. There's naturopathic herbalism that makes up over half of our training program. And then there's also, we have a section where we teach holistic health and life coaching. And then we also have an online business development and marketing portion in our school.
Yeah, and is that quite hard work to do, or do you find it kind of enjoyable? I don't know. Where does it land on that spectrum?
Well, I love all three fields of study. And I really feel like all three fields of study are so important that these things, I believe they should be teaching our children this in high school. Like everyone should know how to be healthy and heal themselves. That seems like a no-brainer, right? I mean, we learn all these things in school, like we learn history and we learn, whatever, which I'm not saying it's bad, but how much do we learn about really learning how to be healthy and heal ourselves, And then with life coaching and mindset, this is a field that's, I believe, really important for people who want to be high achievers, people who are entrepreneurs, or, people who want to really do something big with their lives. They really focus. They have to focus on their mindset and, how to think correctly in order to achieve, success in life, instead of, a lot of times we grow up with people who can bring us down or who never had like big goals and dreams themselves. And so their thinking can kind of pollute our minds. And, when we focus on the kind of thinking that we need to achieve, just great things in life, it's really powerful stuff. And I believe that's, why I've been successful in the field of health and healing and in the field of entrepreneurship for all these years, is because of, that coaching and mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is so true, because I remember at school, we never really had any time dedicated to self-care, maybe like one class a week. And even then, it wasn't every week that it would be something that would be beneficial to our health, really.
Yeah, it's very, very minor. And, self-care is a part of the whole picture,
Yeah.
but really what we teach at aruka.com is a lot deeper and broader than self-care. Self-care is a part of holistic health and healing, but I'm talking about, healing from major leading killers such as heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, and also very common infections like, urinary tract infection and eczema, things that are so common in our world today. People, even medical doctors, are really very ignorant of what to do. And that's why, the testimonial that you just read, I believe that's the one from a medical doctor, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I have students and clients who are actually medical doctors who are learning from me. And I don't have a medical degree, but they don't teach these powerful health and healing things in medical school. And that's partly because, our medical system is controlled by the pharmaceutical companies. It's very extremely profitable for corporations to keep us sick. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's why most medical institutions that train people to become nurses and doctors, they do not learn about true holistic health and healing. They learn about pathology, they learn about, anatomy and physiology, and they learn about disease, and they learn about how to treat them with drugs, which have very harmful side effects and cause further problems. But, for example, we have so many like cancer nonprofit organizations that are looking for the cure for cancer, quote unquote, when in reality, holistic healers, I know that there are many cures for cancer. There are many cures for cancer. And the question is, which one will work for you? Really, that's the question. And that's another thing that we teach at aruka.com is this concept of bioindividuality. There are many cures, but it will depend on the specific individual and what they've been lacking in life, what their poor habits that they have picked up on or grew up with or, lived around, so, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a good point about drugs, because I guess a lot of the time, medicines and drugs that you take aren't actually fixing the issue. They're just taking the pain away or doing a kind of temporary fix, disguising the issue instead of fixing it, I guess.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know if you want to keep talking about this, but for example, one example is like urinary tract infection. Urinary tract infection or bladder infection is probably the second most common thing that people go in to see the doctor for.
Wow.
And the conventional method, the first would be like the common flu or, something like that, or, whether it's bacterial or a virus, that like a regular cold or flu. But the second most common is a urinary tract infection. And the way they usually treat urinary tract infection is through antibiotics. And sure, it'll work. It'll get rid of that infection. However, those antibiotics, especially if you take them on a regular basis, they will actually lower your immune system and lower your gut bacteria, your good gut health, so that you will be more prone to getting recurring urinary tract infections. So the cure that medical doctors give usually for urinary tract infection is actually what keeps people getting recurring urinary tract infection. Yeah. Whereas in the holistic model, you have to understand how to prevent those, not only to heal. Of course, we're going to heal the urinary tract infection, but we also have to address what is causing it in the first place.
Yeah, and with antibiotics, as time goes on, they're becoming less effective, aren't they? Because the bacteria is becoming resistant against them.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what? That's perfectly fine for modern medicine. That's perfectly fine for the hospital system, because they don't profit from you being healthy. The people who profit from us being healthy are the organic farmers, are the people who make natural medicines, and these things cannot be patented. You can't patent an organic tomato. You can't patent a tincture made out of dandelion root because those belong to God. They don't belong to a big corporation, and that's why the pharmaceutical industries are not teaching that to medical doctors and to nurses in school, and they are the major funders of medical colleges today. Yeah. And so that's why there's such a great need for what we are teaching at aruka.com, because people are in darkness about these big corporations and how they're basically keeping us healthy and suppressing a lot of the powerful cures that are available in nature and that our ancestors have been using for thousands of years, actually.
Yeah, and I guess even though in the UK we have free healthcare and public healthcare, the argument of people making money still applies, I guess, because inevitably drugs will be made by some private companies and all sorts of machinery will, etc.
Yeah, you may have free healthcare, but the healthcare is still controlled by the pharmaceutical companies. So UK, I love, from what I've heard, the UK has, for example, banned a lot of the things that America still allows, right?
Oh.
For example, some of the GMO and pesticides and certain things that, and certain like just additives and stuff like that. I feel like in the European Union, or just where you're at, not in America. um, so I really believe in like freedom of choosing your own healthcare.
Yeah.
But I know that when usually government leaders, they stand to gain from making money, right?
Mm.
And so if it will make them money for their citizens to be healthy, then they will try to push people to be healthy. If they make more money because they're paid by the corporations from people being sick, then that's what they'll promote. So really, it's very fluid. It's very fluid. You can't really trust the government and free healthcare for your health, because
Yeah.
if an opportunity arises and a pharmaceutical company is willing to pay government officials and legislators to promote a certain system or program or drug, politicians are so easily bought out. So sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad. Really, the key is we should not have to rely on anyone to be healthy or to heal ourselves. We need to understand for ourselves what is healthy and how to heal, and not depend on things that are funded by corporations whose main objective is profit.
Yeah. And I guess it's been particularly important, health, over these last couple years, because not only have we been in a big health situation, but a lot of people as a result of that have maybe neglected their health because they've just been sitting at home not really exercising and maybe eating a bit more. And also, if they have got something they're worried about, they might be scared to go into the hospital or their doctors and get it checked out because they don't want to come out with something they didn't come in with.
Yes, absolutely. That you just hit on so many things right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the problems, for example, is that people are staying indoors, and you mentioned the lack of exercise, but there's also, the lack of vitamin D and sunshine, and vitamin D and sunshine has a powerful effect on our immune system. People don't realize how powerful it is. And I think it's becoming, the awareness of the importance of vitamin D is becoming more prevalent right now, as our lifestyles as a society have become more indoors, with computers and online jobs and stuff like that. Just like as a culture, as humanity, we have just been spending less time outdoors. This is not how our ancestors lived, and our bodies are not designed to really live like this for a very long time. And that's part of, with all the lockdowns, that's a huge factor in a lot of these deaths. Scientists have found. And another thing is the fear. Fear causes stress, and stress also can greatly lower your immune system. There's a lot to say about just the power of joy and having a positive mindset and not living in fear. And it's not just a hokey thing like, oh, you just have to feel good, and you'll get better. No, it really has like a biological chemical effect on you and your immune system if you are positive and if you have joy in your life.
Yeah.
And it's a great part of healing, especially from diseases such as cancer.
Yeah. That's such an interesting point. So, who would you say your school is best suited for? Is it people that have issues with their health, or could it really be anybody? Because health is a bit of a universal thing, I suppose.
So, I basically designed my school to be perfect for someone who was like me back in 2000. I think it was 2005, or I think is when I was in a very similar situation where I just found that the modern medical system kept failing me. It kept failing my family, and I wasn't finding the answers that I needed. And I was like, I need guidance, though. I'm not just gonna go search the internet for random things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want people need to be mentored and led by someone who has knowledge and experience in this kind of thing. This is like an apprenticeship. And so this program is for anyone who wants to learn the art of holistic health and healing, whether they want to learn it for themselves and to take care of their families. But once you learn these things, you will have a very powerful and marketable skill. And so that's why we added the certification, and that's why we added the online business development and marketing. And that's another thing I really feel like is important, is that people need that freedom. I mean, look at the both of us. We both make a living online. We don't have standard jobs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the power of the internet today. And it just makes everything easier. You know what I mean? It makes making money easier. And so when you have this powerful skill that's highly in demand, health and healing. I mean, anyone that is dying, and everyone's dying, right? Because everyone's going to die one day, right? Everyone who suffers from health and healing and has anyone that they care about, this skill is going to be so valuable. It's going to save them, hundreds and thousands of dollars in health insurance and medical care and pain and suffering. But then also, they're also going to learn how to build a profitable online business, because that's the business model that I've been using, ever since 2004.
Wow.
I've been completely online, and it's enabled me to be a stay-at-home mom. I have 7 children, and I homeschool them. And, I do a lot of things, and I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have an online business. I would have had to just quit my career. I used to, before I got married, I used to be a computer scientist / engineer at the NASA Ames Research Center. And it was, I loved what I did. I had a great team, and I was working on really exciting projects, but I really wanted to be there for my family, for my children. I didn't want to take my son, to just some babysitter and have the babysitter raise them, or have the school teachers raise them. That's unnatural as well. Mothers were meant to be there for their children. So having an online business has really empowered me to do that. And so that's why, we have that as part of our program, because I just want, basically our academy, even though it focuses on, holistic health and healing, I really want to fill people up with everything that they need to succeed in life. And especially in the area of health and healing, but also in the area of, mindset, and how to make money and online, and how to have that time and financial and location freedom. I can go on vacation anytime I want, as long as I have internet access. I don't have to ask permission from any of my clients. I just tell them, and they don't even care. Like I'll we'll go to the beach on vacation, and I'll have a quick a call, or or I'll just email my clients. It's just so wonderful to have this knowledge of health and healing, and of the online business model.
Yeah, that's so true. The internet is a great resource that we have these days, because without it, I guess a lot of people would be much poorer, myself included, I guess.
Yeah. And not only that, but we get to do what we love. I mean, I believe you love what you do, and I love what I do. And so that's another awesome part of it, is that we get to feel fulfilled, and we get to have more joy, which also creates more health.
Yeah, definitely. Because mental and physical health are both important, and people often forget about that, probably.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, as a health coach, what does that actually mean? What are you doing to coach people in a health way?
Yeah. So, I'm not a medical doctor, right? So I cannot prescribe or treat or diagnose disease. But what I can do is I can educate, I can support, and I can encourage people on their holistic health and healing journey. So we have health and healing programs where they're learning how to heal themselves from top, holistic healers, medical doctors. The information is from these sources, and then I am here to guide them. For example, I have one of my clients, my recent clients. She's battling with breast cancer, and so I'm coaching her. I'm giving her resources, and then she wants to get tested, and so I'm helping her to find a testing center near her so that she can check her nutrition levels.
Yeah.
And then I'm giving her a lot of encouragement and support that she wouldn't get, and I'm helping her how to think about how to be resourceful, because I know that she doesn't have a lot of money. So how is she gonna, it's cheaper to eat junk food. It's more convenient, takes less time. So part of what I'm doing is I'm helping her to figure out, how she's going to do this, how she's going to get the things that her body needs on a limited income, on a limited budget. And part of that is by, I can't teach her everything myself. That would be too expensive for her as well. So I'm pointing her to the right resources that she needs to empower herself and to become her own healer.
Yeah, absolutely. And when people sign up to your school, what exactly do they learn, and what is the process like, and how is it different from a normal school? Because I take it it's not 9 till 3 taking up all your time.
Yeah. So it's the lessons are online, but sometimes our students learn from, like, for example, PDF books that we have available for free, and videos. Sometimes some of the books they have to purchase, and it can be, they can purchase like an Audible version sometimes, or sometimes they can purchase a Kindle version. Sometimes it's only available in paperback. And then sometimes there's videos that they have to purchase, and then there's writing assignments. So part of the way that we designed our school is that it's not just like a bunch of tests and quizzes, but it's really preparing them. It's really preparing them to think and to become a health coach. And part of that is learning how to convey what they learn to others. And so we have things like writing assignments, or learning how to get the message out for health and healing on social media or by video. So it's all the assignments are very entrepreneurship oriented. So that's, I think, one of the things that makes our school different, is that from the very beginning, it's geared towards helping them build their business from the very first assignment that they learn. And so that's one thing that makes our school different. Another thing that makes our school different from other health coaching schools is that most health coaching schools, they only teach the basics. And they teach like maybe different diet theories. So in our school, health coaching is only one module, and the majority of modules are about a vast range of different types of healing modalities. So we go into the basics and the foundations. We talk about also toxins, and there's people that go to these health coaching schools and they don't know some of the major toxins that are out there in the world. And they're not warning people about it, and that's disappointing. But most health coaching schools are just very basic and generic. So we really go deep into the field of health and healing. And most health coaching schools, the students cannot come out and say, I have medical doctors that come to me for advice. That's not common, right? But I have that, as a health coach. I'm not a medical doctor. Remember, I'm just a naturopathic herbalist and a health coach. But I have medical doctors coming to me for advice, and this is the knowledge that we empower our students with. Not just basic generic things, but really deep and broad learning. So we cover homeopathy, herbalism. We cover orthomolecular nutrition, just different types of healing modalities. It's not, I think most health coaching schools, they only focus on a very small subsection of what we teach. And that's why our program is 1 year long, where most health coaching schools are like 6 months or less. I've seen 4 months, just really, they're not deep. It's like, sure, you got certified, but are you confident? Are you confident to heal people? Are you confident to advise people? Most are not. Most people that graduate from health schools, like I have a friend who graduated from one of the top schools, the health coaching schools, and she's doing real estate because she's not confident. And there's another health coach. She's also a massage therapist, and she also went to the top health coaching school that's around today. And she is, she's interested in my program because she also feels like the health coaching school that she went to previously was inadequate.
Yeah.
So I think these are the things that really set us apart. I don't know of a health coach certification school like ours out there, really.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I guess there is a difference between a course saying, well done, you've finished the course and passed, and the person actually feeling like they've got something out of it. Because, any course could maybe just pass everyone to make themselves look good, really. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And I like the fact that you do assignments as well, because there's so many online courses that I guess aren't really meant to be as serious and professional, but they're just a series of videos and maybe you read a few things and then that's it, boom, done. And so you could not really be paying attention. But with an assignment, you have to actually do some work. So you're almost guaranteed to have to think about it.
Yeah. Yes. Not only think about it, but, people learn in different ways. And the more ways that you learn, reading is one way, listening is another way, and writing is another way, and speaking is another way. So the more ways you engage yourself in the learning process, the better that information will stick to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So why did you decide to start this school in the first place? Was it because of all the other courses and schools that weren't really that great, or is it your personal experience too?
Well, I just helped people one-on-one, and people would start, they started asking me to teach. And I was like, no, I'm not really interested in teaching. I just want to help people. But then, then the whole COVID thing happened a few years back. And then I had, medical doctors who, were being inspired by me and who were coming to me and asking for my advice to help their friends and family. And they were like, you need to teach this. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess that was enough confirmation for me that, it wasn't that if even medical doctors are telling me that I need to teach, then I felt like, maybe this is my calling. I think I should teach. And so that's why I shifted Aruka.com from being just helping people individually to like training people to be healers. Because I can't help everyone on a one-on-one basis, but if I create healers, then that knowledge will proliferate, throughout the earth. Basically.
And what is a naturopathic herbalist as well? Because when I just read it, I think of herbal tea. That's the only thing that comes to mind, and I guess that's completely unrelated.
Yeah, totally. So an herbalist is basically a healer. Before there were pharmaceutical drugs, before there were, medical doctors as we have them today, people used herbs, right? They used herbs, not just in the form of teas, but there's tinctures and there's, wraps, and they would fast on certain foods, for example. There's all sorts of different ways to use plants and herbs. Okay. But with the change of the way we live our lives today, we have needed more. We have needed more knowledge than just how to use plants. And that's where the naturopathic part comes in. Naturopathy is a more fuller picture. It's not just the herbs. It's also identifying toxins. It's also understanding the power of, healing through having the right kind of attitude, through getting rid of the stressors in your life, through prayer, through EFT. It's like this certain kind of method. And then there's also homeopathy, which is a relatively new way to heal. It wasn't around 1,000 years ago. Homeopathy, it's new. We have German New Medicine, which is very much about stress and trauma and mindset, and how that causes us to be sick. And then we also have orthomolecular medicine or orthomolecular nutrition, which is basically mega dose vitamin therapy. And that's also something that wasn't around 1,000 years ago or several hundred years ago. So naturopathy gives, it's herbalism is the ancient art, and the naturopathy covers the rest of the field of holistic health and healing that we have available to us today.
Yeah. And where do you see the school in the years to come? How do you expect it to grow?
Well, our goal is to become the world's leading holistic health school, out there.
Yeah.
And it's something that I hope will outlive me, and that I will be able to pass on to my children and future generations.
Yeah.
I really hope that this will become it's not just for profit, but that it will be a movement. A very famous person once said that the doctor of the future, now I'm loosely paraphrasing, but he said that the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will treat the person through diet and through natural holistic health and healing methods. That's the doctor of the future.
Wow.
We're not there yet. So we're not in the future that we are meant to be.
Yeah.
And I hope and pray that my school and other schools out there, if they choose to take this on, will bring us to that future that we need to be at as humanity.
Definitely. Now, just before we leave you, because I know you're very busy, we'll read one last testimonial to remind ourselves of how great you are. Mayim has helped me tremendously over the past 3 years in my journey towards healing. There have been multiple times that I've inquired and received invaluable wisdom and knowledge from her. For example, I would struggle with arthritis, and I've also had to have heart palpitations regularly. Mayim has provided me with her formula for herbal calcium tea. After drinking it, I feel a difference very quickly. Over time, my palpitations dissipated and my pain was relieved. I also had very healthy blood pressure after drinking the tea, as she recommended, for a few months. This greatly increased my quality of life. Additionally, I required more iron, as I was anemic and struggling, and she shared her Super Greens formula with me, which also helped bring up my B vitamins. I saw a major improvement after drinking daily, and I began providing the drink to my children as well. I was interested in naturopathic healing before acquiring Mayim's recommendations, but I have learned so much as a result. Herbal remedies, a whole foods diet, and many options for avoiding allopathic care have all added to my family's quality of life. More than that, though, she has helped me navigate many trials and has been an integral part of my personal healing, in that she's given me advice on how long to process trauma, how to promote healing emotionally and physically, and how best to handle situations in my life. When I've needed honest advice, she has consistently listened and given fair advice in many areas of my life. Lastly, Mayim is a successful entrepreneur from whom I have gotten many ideas from, while running a family business, and has shared her knowledge and even challenges so that we as a family might be more successful. In all, she is an invaluable asset and cherished ally to our family and to me individually. Now, that took maybe nearly 3 minutes to read, so it must be quite a good feeling that somebody has taken the time to write all that about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for coming on the show. Where are we able to check out the school and everything that you offer?
Yes, definitely. Well, our main website is at www.arukah.com, and that's ARUKAH.com. Most people forget the H, so there's an H at the end of that. Okay, so ARUKAH.com.
Great.
Thank you so much. I loved being here and talking to you today.